This is not the Palais de Justice, is the name of this chapter. This is a story my mother especially liked to tell French people who visited our home in Long Island. Our Paris phone number must have been one digit off from the Palais de Justice's main line. The Palais de Justice was the block of buildings on the Ile de la Cité that included the infamous and ancient Conciergerie prison, police headquarters, and all the judicial branches of government, including the courts. During the 14 years we lived in our apartment, we got at least 2 calls a day for the Palais de Justice. This was, of course, before the invention of answering machines, voicemail, or caller ID. In France, to this day, it's practically impossible to get the phone company to fix a problem, and equally hard to get your number changed, and this was one of the things that my father hated about France, and it drove him insane. My parents' French friend, Monique, taught them how to say in French, "You've dialed the wrong number. This is not the Palais de Justice. Vous vous trompez de numéro. Ce n'est pas le Palais de Justice." With my mother's accent, however, it came off sounding something like, "No, vous vous trompez le numéro. C'est pas le Palais de Justice." The French callers, fearing that some foreigner had been hired to man the lines, would start yelling and insist on being transferred to the appropriate department, to which Gloria kept repeating, "No, no, no, ce n'est pas le Palais de Justice." After several attempts at making herself understood, she would say, "Oh, go fuck yourself," and slam down the receiver with a colossal bang. Good thing those old black rotary phones were as sturdy as Sherman tanks. A moment later, the poor caller would be trying again. At this point, my father would say, "Here, give me that phone," and he would launch into his slower, more carefully enunciated, but hardly more comprehensible version of the same words taught to them by Monique, with little embellishments of his own. He worked on this for years. "Je m'excuse, monsieur. Vous vous trompez le numéro. Ici n'est pas le Palais de Justice." When I was 5 or 6, I told him "Je m'excuse" had a different meaning than "Je suis désolé." "Je m'excuse" meant the speaker was somehow responsible for the problem, while "Je suis désolé" meant it was almost certainly someone else's fault. In any case, the caller would invariably start shouting, as if that would help, and my father would then tell the person to fuck off and slam down the phone. When our Portuguese nanny, Judith, or her mother, Silvina, answered such calls, the accent would be quite different, but hardly clearer. "No, no, vous vous trompez la numéro, monsieur. Ici, no, c'est le Palais de Justice." Shirley MacLaine, the actress who'd played Jenny Moorhead in the film of Some Came Running, had apparently taken a shine to my father, and for several years during her visits to Paris, she would call the apartment in an attempt to get together with him. I remember once I was standing near my mother when the phone rang. "Hello?" Her face went from expectant to furious in 2 seconds flat. She covered the mouthpiece with her hand and whispered, "It's that shitty Shirley MacLaine again." Suddenly she said, sweetly into the phone, her voice going up several octaves in an excellent imitation of Judith and Silvina's Portuguese accent, "Now, now, madame, monsieur no pas ici." "No, no, madam, monsieur is not here." And she slammed down the receiver back into its cradle, wiping her hands of it, a job well done.